When you think of Panera Bread, what comes to mind? Warm bread bowls, cozy booths filled with laptop warriors, or maybe just that feeling that you're paying way too much for a sandwich and soup. Panera Bread once symbolized the promise of fast casual dining. At its peak, Panera was buzzing with students, professionals, and families who flocked in daily. But today, most locations sit half empty. Customers vent on Reddit about hospital food at hospital prices, and the chain is facing lawsuits, layoffs, and shrinking relevance. So what happened? In this video, I'm going to break down the downfall of Panera Bread. Panera's story begins in 1987, when entrepreneur Ron Shaich bought a small chain called St. Louis Bread Company. The appeal was simple but powerful: fresh baked bread, hot soup, and cozy cafes that felt more welcoming than fast food. In 1997, the name Panera Bread was born, and the company set its sights on national expansion. The early 2000s were Panera's golden age. Between 2000 and 2006, revenue skyrocketed from $151 million to over $1.3 billion. Customers loved the menu staples: broccoli cheddar soup, turkey sandwiches, cinnamon crunch bagels, and embraced the chain as a healthier, more upscale alternative to McDonald's or Subway. Panera also tapped into lifestyle trends early. By 2004, it was the largest provider of free Wi-Fi in the US, making it a go-to spot for students and remote workers long before Starbucks leaned into that role. By the mid-2000s, Panera had nearly 2,000 locations, consistent same-store sales growth, and a reputation as one of the most successful fast casual brands in the country. In 2017, German private equity giant JAB Holding Company bought Panera for $7.5 billion, making it one of the largest restaurant acquisitions of the decade. If you followed some of our videos on businesses like Toys R Us or Red Lobster, you know what usually comes next. Private equity owners prioritize short-term profitability and return on investment. That often means cutting costs, streamlining operations, and pushing new revenue schemes, even if it undermines what made the brand successful in the first place. For Panera, that meant fewer overnight bakers, centralized dough facilities, and pre-prepped soups and sides that only needed to be reheated in-store. The brand that built its reputation on scratch-baked bread and fresh food suddenly relied on shortcuts. Customers began to notice the clean food image, one that banned artificial preservatives, sweeteners, and flavors, was increasingly questioned when investigative reports revealed frozen items, pesticides, and additives still present in the supply chain. The JAB era also marked a cultural shift. Former managers described a toxic work environment with mounting pressure to cut labor costs while maintaining appearances. And while cost-cutting might look good on paper, it chipped away at the soul of the cafe experience. One of the most common criticisms of Panera today is simple: it's not worth it anymore. In the 1990s, a turkey sandwich might cost $4.50, and a bowl of soup was under $3. Today, a You Pick Two combo, half a sandwich and a small soup, can easily cost $15 or more. Before drinks or dessert, a single cookie costs $4. A toasted sandwich can reach $13 to $14 with add-ons. What makes it sting more is the shrinking portion sizes. Soups that once filled a bowl now barely cover the bottom. Pastries are smaller, sandwiches thinner. Employees themselves have admitted that portion sizes have been quietly reduced to save costs. As one frustrated customer put it, "It's literally hospital food at hospital prices." That sentiment captures the core of Panera's value problem. When diners feel they can make the same meal at home for a fraction of the cost, or get more filling options at Chipotle or Chick-fil-A, they start walking away. Perhaps the biggest symbolic loss was the bakery itself. For years, Panera's identity rested on its fresh bread. Customers could watch bakers working dough in the early morning hours, and the smell of warm loaves defined the cafe atmosphere. Over time, those bakers disappeared. Centralized production replaced on-site craftsmanship. Bagels were no longer boiled, just steamed. Soups and mac and cheese came frozen in bags. Even bread, the heart of Panera, often arrived half-baked and was rushed through ovens to meet quotas. For many longtime fans, this was the breaking point. By removing the very feature that differentiated it from other chains, Panera gave up a competitive advantage and eroded customer trust. Another self-inflicted wound has been constant menu churn. To streamline operations, Panera slashed popular items: French onion soup, blueberry bagels, warm bowls, and even seasonal favorites that gave the brand character. At some test locations, as many as 50 items disappeared in one go. While cutting a bloated menu can improve efficiency, Panera overcorrected. Customers walked in expecting familiar comfort food and left disappointed. The cafe that once offered variety suddenly felt generic. This raised a bigger question. What is Panera now? Is it a bakery cafe? A salad shop? A coffee subscription service? A delivery brand? In trying to be everything, Panera ended up being nothing, and that left the door wide open for competitors to define the space more clearly. Back in the 2000s, Panera practically invented fast casual. Today, it's surrounded by rivals that do it better. Chipotle dominates with big portions and customizable options. Sweetgreen owns the premium salad and health-conscious crowd. Starbucks remains the hub for coffee, Wi-Fi, and community. Chick-fil-A has unmatched customer loyalty and value for money. Compared to these brands, Panera feels like a relic. Without clear differentiation or strong value, it has been squeezed in the middle, too expensive to be fast food, too underwhelming to be premium. Then, there are the scandals. Most infamous is Panera's Charged Lemonade. Marketed as a clean energy alternative, the large size once contained 390 milligrams of caffeine, more than a Red Bull and a Monster combined, plus guarana extract for an extra kick. Tragically, multiple lawsuits allege that the drink contributed to customer deaths. One young woman with a heart condition collapsed hours after consuming it. Another man with high blood pressure died after multiple refills. A third customer reported lasting heart issues. Panera eventually cut caffeine levels to 237 milligrams and moved the drinks behind the counter, but the damage was done. When your brand is mocked as selling the world's deadliest lemonade, trust evaporates fast. Panera's troubles aren't just about customer perception. Financial pressures have started to show. In late 2023, the company laid off 17% of its corporate workforce, about 300 employees. In 2024 and 2025, multiple locations closed suddenly, often with little notice to staff. At the same time, JAB Holding has been preparing Panera for a possible IPO. Industry observers worry the company is following the typical private equity playbook: cut costs, inflate margins, go public, and cash out. In July 2025, reports surfaced that JAB was even exploring selling off Panera's coffee and bagel divisions to raise billions, signaling internal uncertainty about the brand's future direction. Leadership churn has only added to the instability. In 2025, Jose Cil, the former Burger King CEO, was brought in to oversee Panera. His job? Turn around sagging U.S. sales, which fell nearly 5% to about $6 billion. Whether he can engineer a comeback remains to be seen. Panera Bread's downfall isn't one of dramatic collapse. It's a slow fade, from beloved bakery cafe to overpriced, underwhelming chain. From cozy booths and fresh bread smells to kiosks, chaos, and frozen food. From trusted clean food pioneer to lawsuits over lethal lemonade. Customers noticed, they moved on, and today, many Panera locations sit half-empty, overshadowed by competitors that offer clearer value and fresher reputations. The lesson is simple. In the restaurant industry, you can't just coast on nostalgia. Customers have options, and if you don't deliver on quality, value, and identity, they won't stick around. If you liked this deep dive on Panera Bread's fall, you might also want to watch our video on what happened to Toys R Us. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel.